Sarah and Mark had always been dreamers. Both architects, they spent their days designing spaces for other people. Homes, offices, and buildings that would stand the test of time. But when it came to their own love story, it seemed they were still in the planning stages. It started years ago, when they met at a design conference. Sarah had been presenting a new concept for eco-friendly housing, and Mark was captivated not only by her ideas, but by the passion in her eyes. After her presentation, he approached her, and their conversation quickly shifted from design to dreams, from blueprints to the foundations of life. "I think buildings are like love," Sarah said one evening as they walked through the city. "At first, they're just a vision, a hope. You sketch, you plan, and sometimes you make mistakes. But with patience and care, you build something that lasts." Mark smiled, his hand brushing hers as they walked. "And sometimes the design changes midway through, and it ends up even better than you imagined." They spent the next few years working together, their projects intertwined with their growing affection. Late nights in the studio became a routine. Sketches turned into shared dinners, and building models into quiet moments where they just sit and talk about everything: life, art, and the spaces they wanted to create together. One night, after a long day of designing a new cultural center, Mark paused, pencil in hand, and looked over at Sarah. She was hunched over her desk, her hair pulled back, focused on a detail that only someone like her would notice. He stood up and walked over to her, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "What if we designed something for us?" Sarah looked up, her eyes meeting his. "What do you mean?" "A home," he said softly. "Not for a client, not for a project, but for us. Something that reflects who we are together." She smiled, the idea taking root in her mind. "I like that. But designing a home is harder than any building. It's not just about space, it's about love, trust, and compromise." "I know," Mark said, "but I think we're ready for it." And so they began sketching, this time not for a client, but for themselves. Their home was a reflection of their love, a mixture of their styles and dreams. Every window, every wall told a story of late nights, whispered promises, and shared laughter. It wasn't just a house, it was the embodiment of what they had built together, piece by piece, day by day. A life, a love, and a future.